This is an exciting day for fans of fast Audis because beside me is the all-new next generation S3 and we're going to have a sneaky peek at it before it's officially unveiled. So as you can see, Audi has wrapped the S3 in quite a funky looking camouflage. It's got all this black stuff. I think it actually looks quite cool, but we can see, even when it's wrapped like this, you can see some of the new design elements of both the A3 hatch and the S3. So you see these sort of cool looking lamps here with LED light elements. Now, we do know some news about this. I opened the bonnet earlier. Beneath the bonnet is the Volkswagen Group's EA888 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo. Now, Audi is not telling us at this stage how much power it's producing, but we think it's going to be around 245 kilowatts and around 400 newton meters of torque. We think for the 4th generation A3 and S3, the performance variant will only become available with the 7-speed dual clutch, which is a big shame if you like manuals. But this thing's going to be seriously quick. I think with around that sort of level of power, we're thinking a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time of less than 5 seconds, so pretty brisk. And I've just had a brief drive and it really does feel super quick. Now, key things to note about this car is I've spoken to some engineers and they are especially proud of 2 things. It has the Haldex 6 all-wheel drive system, so it's their Quattro system, and it's got something like 11 plates on the rear axle alone. It sounds ridiculous, but the important things to take away is this is more reactive than ever before. This can react to some slipping on the rear wheels in 100 milliseconds, so it's really quick to shuffle the torque from backwards and forwards. As before, in most cases, it's running around in the majority of front-wheel drive. Little golf cart drives past. Anyway, but if it needs to, it can shuffle it all the way back to the rear axle. What can we say? It's also got these really trick adaptive dampers, and they're trick because as you enter a corner on the outside wheel, it stiffens the dampers, but on the inside wheel, it softens them off. So it means you have maximum traction at all times. And we've driven, just look at the state of this thing. We've driven it on muddy roads, and yeah, it's got so much grip, so much traction. Yeah, it's going to be much quicker than the car it replaces. We're not allowed to show you the interior at this stage, but if you've seen the Golf Mark 8, it's a bit like that with some fancy trimmings around the edge. It's high-tech, very minimalist, not many buttons, and it's quite cool, although this one's a bit shoddy because it's pre-production. More things to know is this S3 is going to be available in 3 body styles. It's going to be available in this 5-door hatch, and then we think it's going to be available in a sedan. In fact, it almost certainly will be, and we think it might be available in a 5-door liftback, which confusingly is set to be called the Sportback. I know, because this car used to be called the Sportback. Who cares? Other things from driving it, I think the chassis is quite different from the 1st generation because what they've done is they've tried to broaden the gap between comfort mode and sport. So in comfort, it's a lot more comfortable, and in sport, you guessed it, it's a bit sportier. It sounds good as well, actually. In dynamic mode, it's got a bimodal sports exhaust, so it's got 2 fancy flaps, and when it opens, this thing pops and bangs. In fact, it made an enormous bang earlier, scared some cows. So that's quite funny and entertaining. So yeah, sports exhaust sounds better, will be quicker. It's got some progressive steering, changes the ratio of the steering rack. It's all good. It feels really composed and really mature and faster than ever. But yeah, we'll be able to tell you more when I've driven it more.